Okay, so we're diving into the aftermath of that just awful firestorm in LA.
Yeah.
And, our listeners have shared a lot of interest in the rebuilding efforts,
Hmm.
especially all those that are focused on like
Oh,
safer,
yeah.
more sustainable building. And I think this proposal that we have
Right.
today really fits the bill perfectly.
Yeah.
It's advocating for using something called MHS building
Right.
systems
Yeah.
for all the reconstruction.
Yeah.
And that just seems like such a radical departure
Mm.
from
It is.
traditional methods.
It's bold, and it's fascinating how they tackle this head on.
Yeah.
We're talking thousands of homes destroyed,
Oh,
people displaced.
yeah.
Mayor Bass even had to issue an emergency executive order just to speed up
Wow.
the rebuilding process.
Yeah.
And this proposal doesn't just want to rebuild, they
Yeah.
want to rethink how we build,
Yeah.
especially in areas that are prone to fire.
Exactly. It's not just about putting things back the way they were.
Right.
It's about learning from what happened
Yeah.
and creating something that is more resilient.
Absolutely.
One of the things that really jumped out at me was how the proposal calls out traditional wood-framed construction
Yeah.
as part of the problem.
Totally.
We all saw those images of homes just going up in flames.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
They're pointing to the inherent vulnerability of wood
Yeah.
as a material, especially, in these areas where there's high risk for wildfire.
Right.
And that's where these MHS building systems come in.
Okay.
They're offering it as a solution.
Okay, so aluminum framing instead of wood?
Uh-huh.
I mean,
That's a big change.
a big change.
Yeah,
To be honest, it kind of sounds a little bit like we're building houses out of soda cans now.
I know.
But you've read through the proposal.
I have.
So break it down first. Like, what are these MHS systems?
Okay, so MHS stands for Modular Home Systems,
Okay.
and it's a technology that was developed by this group,
Okay.
MHS Building Systems Group. The key is not just the aluminum framing, but the way that these structures are built.
Okay.
They use prefabricated modules,
Okay.
meaning that the walls, the floors, even roof sections
Uh-huh.
are constructed off-site in a factory setting,
Oh, wow.
and then they're shipped
Right.
to the building site for assembly.
So it's like putting together a giant high-tech Lego house.
Pretty much.
I can see how that would be appealing, like, in terms of efficiency.
Yeah.
Especially when you need to rebuild quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
But how does that translate into benefits for the people who will be living in these homes?
Well, let's start with the most obvious benefit, fire safety.
Okay.
Because aluminum doesn't burn.
Right.
These homes are inherently much more resistant to fire spread.
Okay.
And they even use these specialized flame-proof structural insulated panels,
Yeah, I saw that.
or FSIPs. Can you elaborate on those a little?
Yeah, so the proposal highlights these FSIs as being key to like achieving the highest level of fire resistance.
Right.
And instead of traditional insulation that can be flammable,
Right.
these panels use a combination of materials that are designed to withstand intense heat.
Yeah.
So magnesium boards add structural strength and fire resistance,
Mm-hmm.
while OSB boards provide like a stable substrate,
Yeah.
and then the EPS foam insulation.
Right.
It's specially formulated to be non-flammable.
Okay.
And altogether, these materials create like a super robust barrier against fire spread.
Wow.
Plus, and this is something I found really interesting,
Yeah.
the MHS homes are designed without attics,
Oh, wow.
which eliminates a common pathway for flames to travel
Yeah.
quickly through a house.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
The lack of an attic not only improves fire safety, but also
Yeah.
simplifies the construction process.
Oh, interesting.
And it really highlights how the designers of this system
Yeah.
were thinking holistically about how to create a structure
Yeah.
that's safer on multiple levels.
It's really easy to get caught up in the excitement of this new technology.
Mm.
But I do want to play devil's advocate a little bit.
Sure.
What are some potential drawbacks that maybe we haven't discussed yet?
Well, one of the potential challenges with MHS systems is the need for specialized labor.
Oh.
Building with prefabricated modules requires a different skill set
That makes sense.
than traditional construction methods.
Yeah, so there might be a learning curve
Yeah,
for contractors and builders
definitely.
who are used to working with wood framing
Right.
and more conventional materials.
So sure.
How does the proposal address this training issue?
So the proposal acknowledges this and suggests a few solutions.
Okay.
First, they emphasize the need for a citywide training program specifically
Okay.
for MHS construction.
Okay.
They propose collaborating with local community colleges and trade schools
Okay.
to develop curriculum and a certification process for contractors.
So it's not just about throwing new technology at the problem,
Right.
but investing in the workforce
Absolutely.
and making sure that people have the skills to utilize it effectively.
Yeah,
I like that, but training takes time.
of course.
So how does the proposal address the urgency of the situation?
Okay, so you're right. There's a balance between quality construction
Yeah,
and meeting that need for housing.
right. People need homes now, not, 6 months from now when everyone's trained.
Right. They call for a phased approach
Okay.
where the initial focus is on rebuilding essential community buildings,
Like what?
like schools and healthcare facilities, using teams of already trained MHS specialists.
Oh, so those initial projects would almost serve as training grounds
Exactly.
for the local contractors,
Uh-huh.
allowing them to learn the ropes and get up to speed on these new methods,
Yeah.
while also providing essential services to the community.
It's a really clever way to address both the immediate need
Yeah,
and the long-term workforce development challenge.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have this innovative building system
Right.
that's safer
Yeah.
and potentially more efficient. But what about the cost?
Yeah.
The proposal claims cost effectiveness,
Uh-huh.
but some critics are saying that, upfront costs for aluminum are higher.
Yeah, it's true that up front,
Yeah.
aluminum can be more expensive than wood.
Okay.
The proposal argues that MHS systems lead to long-term cost savings
Okay.
in a couple ways.
Okay.
First, the prefabricated modules require less on-site labor,
Right.
which reduces construction costs.
Okay. Less labor costs.
But more importantly, the durability and reusability
Right.
of the aluminum framing
Okay.
really comes into play here.
So it's not just about the initial building cost, but the lifespan of the structure and
Exactly.
potentially reducing the need for costly repairs
Yeah,
or even rebuilding down the line.
exactly. Aluminum, unlike wood, retains its structural integrity
Right.
even after exposure to fire.
Oh, wow.
So in the event of a future fire,
Yeah.
the aluminum framing could be salvaged and reused,
Wow.
significantly reducing the cost of rebuilding.
That's a huge point,
Yeah.
especially given how wildfires are becoming
Yeah,
more frequent and intense.
absolutely. And they go even further,
Okay.
suggesting that this shift to aluminum framing could create a regional hub
Wow.
for aluminum recycling,
Wow.
boosting the local economy.
Interesting.
Imagine a system where the aluminum from damaged structures is recycled
Oh, wow.
and used to build new ones.
That's a really interesting point, about job creation, too.
Yeah.
I imagine this shift could lead to demand for, new skill sets,
Absolutely.
like specialists in aluminum construction or modular design.
Totally. This proposal isn't just about rebuilding houses.
Right.
It's about rethinking the entire construction ecosystem.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this is more than just a quick fix.
Yeah.
It's a potential paradigm shift
Yeah.
in how we think about building.
Totally.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
This is just a proposal.
It is.
There are bound to be hurdles
Of course.
to overcome.
Yeah.
What are some of the regulatory challenges?
That's a great question. And that leads us to the heart of the proposal.
Okay.
They're asking the Los Angeles Building and Safety Department
Okay.
to expedite the approval process
Okay.
for MHS systems.
Okay.
The challenge is that building codes are often written
Yeah.
with traditional materials in mind.
Right.
And there may be resistance
Yeah.
to adopting something that's so different.
So it's not just about convincing people that these systems are a good idea.
Right.
It's about navigating the bureaucracy
Uh-huh.
and overcoming that inertia of the existing regulatory framework.
Absolutely. The proposal kind of anticipates this
Okay.
and suggests a collaborative approach
Okay.
between MHS building systems, group city officials,
Okay.
building code experts to revise those codes,
Okay.
create clear guidelines for MHS construction.
So working together
Yeah,
to figure this out.
exactly.
They also propose a pilot program,
They do.
building a few demonstration homes,
Uh-huh.
using the MHS system to really showcase the safety and feasibility. So it's a multi-pronged strategy.
It is.
Prove the concept,
Uh,
educate the public,
yeah.
work with regulators to create a pathway for widespread adoption.
It's ambitious,
It is.
but it sounds like they've thought this through
Yeah, they really have.
carefully.
Yeah, it speaks to their commitment to not just promoting a product,
Right.
but driving real change in the way we build.
Absolutely.
This whole conversation makes me wonder if this proposal is successful.
Yeah.
Could we see a domino effect with other cities adopting similar approaches?
Maybe.
And could this even change how we think about home construction?
It's a big what if.
It's a big what if to ponder.
It is.
And it makes this proposal so compelling.
Yeah.
It's not just about rebuilding Los Angeles.
It's bigger than that.
It's about reimagining the future of building.
Absolutely.
In a world that is increasingly vulnerable to climate change and natural disasters.
For sure.
It's about creating a built environment that is safer, more sustainable, and ultimately more resilient.
Exactly. And it all starts with a willingness to embrace new ideas, to challenge the status quo, and to ask the question.
What if?
What if?
This has been a really thought-provoking deep dive.
It has.
And I'm sure our listener is buzzing with ideas right now.
I hope so.
We'll be right back in just a moment for part 2, where we'll delve deeper into the potential implications of this technology and explore what it could mean for the future of housing.
Sounds good.
Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's
I think it's worth reflecting on how much ground we've covered already.
It's a lot.
From the nuts and bolts of aluminum framing to the potential for creating a circular economy around building materials.
Yeah, that's a lot.
This proposal goes way beyond just rebuilding houses.
It does.
It's about rethinking the relationship between how we build and the environment.
It's a big shift in perspective for sure. And I think one of the things that really struck me was how the proposal emphasizes not just the sustainability of the materials themselves, but the adaptability of the structures.
Yeah, that's a crucial point.
Yeah.
You know, we touched on it earlier with the idea of homes that can evolve with the needs of the people living in them.
Exactly.
But let's kind of expand on that a little bit.
Okay.
We're talking about a system that can be easily modified, expanded, or even relocated.
Wow.
Imagine being able to add a room, create a home office, or even adjust the layout as your family grows or your needs change.
Right.
All without the major disruption of a traditional renovation.
That almost sounds too good to be true.
I know, right?
Like, is it really that easy to just snap on a new room or reconfigure the layout?
Okay, so it's not quite as simple as snapping Legos together.
Okay.
But the modular design does allow for a level of flexibility that you just don't get with traditional construction. Think of it more like assembling prefabricated components, but are designed to connect and integrate seamlessly.
Okay, so maybe not instant reconfiguration, but definitely more adaptable than having to knock down walls and reframe everything.
For sure.
I can see how that would be appealing to homeowners.
Yeah.
But what about the aesthetics?
Yeah.
You know, we've talked a lot about function and practicality, but people also care about how their homes look and feel.
They do.
Can you really get that warm, inviting home? With this kind of like industrial aluminum?
That's a great question.
Aesthetic.
And it's one that the proposal acknowledges.
Yeah.
You know, they understand that people have preconceived notions about what a house should look like.
Right.
And those notions often don't include exposed metal framing.
Right. It's not the first thing that comes to mind.
But they believe that those perceptions can change.
Okay, so how do they plan to bridge that gap?
Education. They want to showcase examples of well-designed MHS homes, demonstrating that these structures can be just as beautiful, comfortable, and stylish as traditional homes. Think about it. Exposed brick and beams are considered desirable features. So why not exposed aluminum? It's all about how the materials are used and how the design highlights their unique qualities.
I'm starting to see the possibilities.
Yeah.
It's like any new design trend.
Right.
It takes a while for people to get used to it.
Yeah.
But once they see how it can be done well, it starts to become more appealing.
Exactly. And that's where the second part of their approach comes in. Collaboration. They're calling for architects and designers to embrace this new technology and experiment with different ways to integrate it into residential design.
I see.
Imagine like a whole new architectural style emerging.
Wow, yeah.
One that celebrates the exposed metal, framing the modularity and the inherent sustainability of these systems.
It's fascinating to think about how this could influence not just individual homes,
Right.
but entire neighborhoods and communities.
Absolutely.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the people who will actually be building these homes.
Okay.
We've discussed the need for specialized training.
Yeah.
But are there enough skilled workers available?
That's a good question.
And what about the impact on traditional construction jobs?
Those are all important questions.
Yeah.
And they point to the need for a thoughtful transition.
Okay.
to this new model of building.
Right.
The proposal acknowledges that there's potential for disruption in the construction industry.
Makes sense.
But they also see an opportunity for job growth in new sectors.
So it's not just about displacing those existing jobs,
Right.
but it's also about creating new opportunities
Absolutely.
in a different sector.
Think about the manufacturing of the prefabricated modules.
Right.
The logistics of transporting and assembling them, and the specialized skills needed for working with aluminum and other innovative materials.
Right.
These are all areas where we could see significant job growth.
That's a really interesting point about job creation.
Yeah.
I imagine this shift could lead to a demand for new skill sets.
Absolutely.
Like specialists in aluminum construction or modular design.
Totally. This proposal isn't just about rebuilding houses.
Right.
It's about rethinking that entire construction ecosystem.
And that could have a ripple effect across multiple industries.
It could.
Creating new opportunities for training, education, employment.
Absolutely.
It sounds like a potential win-win for both the environment and the economy.
For sure.
But what about the regulatory hurdles?
Okay.
We talked earlier about the need for expedited approvals from the building department. But are there other potential roadblocks?
Yeah. The regulatory landscape is a crucial factor in determining whether this can actually be implemented.
On a large scale.
On a large scale, yeah.
Beyond the city building codes, are there state and federal regulations
There are.
that might need to be addressed?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's not just about getting the green light from the city,
Right.
but navigating a whole web of rules and regulations.
Yeah. At multiple levels of government.
What are some of the specific challenges?
Well, for example, there are safety standards and accessibility codes that are designed with traditional construction methods in mind.
Okay.
They might need to be adapted to ensure that MHS homes meet those standards while still utilizing those unique construction techniques.
So it's almost like the rules of the game haven't caught up with this new technology.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
And that's why the proposal emphasizes collaboration between MHS Building Systems Group and the various regulatory agencies.
So working together.
Yeah, working together to ensure that these new building systems meet all the necessary safety and accessibility requirements, while also paving the way for innovation and progress in the construction industry.
It sounds like a delicate balancing act.
It is.
But if they can pull it off, it could create a model for other cities to follow.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this proposal so compelling.
Yeah.
It's not just a solution for LA.
Right.
It's a potential blueprint for a more sustainable and resilient future for cities all over the world.
You know, as we're talking about all these potential benefits, the safety, the sustainability, the adaptability, it's easy to get swept up in the excitement.
Yeah.
But I am curious about the potential downsides.
Okay.
Are there any, hidden costs or unintended consequences?
You know, it's important to approach any new technology with a healthy dose of skepticism and to consider the potential drawbacks as well as the benefits.
Absolutely.
One potential challenge is the transportation of the prefabricated modules. If the manufacturing facilities are located far from the building sites, the transportation costs could be significant.
That makes sense.
Both financially and environmentally.
So the location of those manufacturing facilities is a crucial factor.
It is.
In determining the overall sustainability of the system.
Absolutely. Ideally, those facilities would be located as close as possible to the building sites.
Right, to minimize transportation.
To minimize transportation distances.
Costs.
Reduce that carbon footprint.
Makes sense. Are there any other potential drawbacks that maybe the proposal doesn't explicitly address?
One issue that often comes up with prefabricated construction is the potential for less design flexibility because the modules are built off-site.
Right.
There might be limitations on the customization options.
So it might be more difficult
to
create those truly unique and personalized homes.
That's a concern, and I think the key lies in striking a balance between standardization and customization.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
So having a set of standard modules that can be easily produced and assembled makes the process more efficient and affordable.
Right.
But within that framework, there needs to be room for customization.
Right.
Homeowners should be able to choose from a variety of finishes, layouts, add-on options to create a home that reflects their individual tastes and needs.
So it's about finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
where you can leverage the benefits of prefabrication without sacrificing that individuality and personalization that people value.
Exactly. And I think that's a challenge that architects and designers are well equipped to address.
Exactly.
They're experts at finding creative solutions within constraints.
Right.
And I'm confident they can find ways to make MHS homes both beautiful and personalized.
That's reassuring. But let's shift gears for a moment.
Okay.
And bring it back to our listener.
Okay.
You know, we've talked a lot about the technical aspects and the potential benefits of these MHS building systems. But I'm curious about your personal perspective.
Right.
What resonates with you the most about this proposal?
What strikes me the most is just the sense of possibility. You know, this isn't just about rebuilding after a disaster. It's about creating something better, something more resilient and sustainable. It's about looking beyond the immediate crisis and envisioning a future where our homes are not just places to live, but expressions of our values and our commitment to a healthier planet.
It's a powerful vision.
It is.
And it makes me wonder what other innovations are out there waiting to be discovered and implemented.
Yeah, there's got to be more.
We'll delve into that in just a moment.
Okay.
We'll be right back for part 3 of our deep dive.
That's good.
Where we'll wrap things up and leave our listener with some thought-provoking questions to consider. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to our deep dive into MHS building systems.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It really has.
We've gone from aluminum framing to reimagining entire cities.
I know, it's crazy.
And it's amazing how a single proposal can spark such a wide-ranging conversation.
Yeah, and I think what's really resonating with our listener is that sense of possibility that you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's not just a technical discussion about building materials.
Right.
It's about like a fundamental shift.
It is.
In how we think about housing.
Absolutely.
And our relationship with the environment.
It's about recognizing that the choices we make about how we build have consequences.
Yeah.
Not just for ourselves, but for future generations.
For sure.
And for the planet.
Right. And I think this proposal really captures that sense of responsibility.
It does.
It's not just about solving a problem.
Right.
It's about creating a better future.
Absolutely.
And for me, one of the most exciting aspects of this is the potential for job creation.
And economic development.
We often think about innovation just in terms of technology.
Right.
But we forget that it also involves people.
Yeah.
The skills that they need.
Absolutely.
To thrive.
To thrive in a changing world.
Yeah, and in this case, we're talking about a whole new sector of the construction industry.
Right.
Emerging one that's focused on sustainability, prefabrication, advanced manufacturing techniques.
Imagine a new generation of skilled workers trained in all of this aluminum construction modular design.
Yeah, green building practices.
These are the jobs of the future.
They are.
And they're right here in our own backyard.
I know. It's exciting.
It's exciting.
And it ties into that idea of a circular economy.
Yeah.
We talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Where waste is minimized.
Right.
Resources are reused.
It's about creating a system that's not only sustainable, but regenerative, where the act of building contributes to a healthier, more vibrant economy.
Yeah.
For sure.
But let's be honest for a moment.
Okay.
This all sounds great in theory.
Yeah.
But what about those practical challenges?
Right.
What would you say to our listener right now?
Yeah.
Who's intrigued by all this, but maybe hesitant about the potential costs or disruptions involved in building this way?
That's valid, and I think it's important to acknowledge that there will be challenges.
Yeah.
Adopting any new technology requires a leap of faith.
It does.
A willingness to embrace the unknown and navigate those bumps in the road.
Yeah, it's not just about the technical feasibility.
Right.
It's about the human element.
Absolutely.
The willingness to adapt.
It is.
And embrace change.
And I think that's where leadership comes in.
Yeah.
It takes visionaries like the people behind this proposal to push the boundaries, to challenge the status quo, and to inspire others to join the movement.
It's about creating a shared vision of a better future.
Yes.
And working together to make it a reality.
And that's what's so compelling about this proposal.
Yeah.
It's not just a technical document.
Right.
It's a call to action.
It is.
An invitation to reimagine the way we build and the kind of world we want to live in.
And that brings us to the question, I think, that's on everyone's mind right now.
What's that?
What can I do?
Yeah.
How can I be a part of this movement
right.
toward a more sustainable and resilient future?
That's a great question, and I think there are so many ways to get involved.
Yeah.
First, educate yourself.
Yeah.
Learn as much as you can
Absolutely.
about sustainable building practices, innovative materials,
Yeah.
the companies that are leading the charge.
Become an informed consumer.
Yes.
Ask those questions.
Yeah.
Demand better options.
Mm-hmm.
Support businesses that align with your values.
And don't underestimate the power of your voice.
Yeah.
Talk to your friends, your family, your neighbors.
Spread the word.
Share your enthusiasm.
Advocate for change.
It's about creating a ripple effect. Starting with those small actions.
Yeah.
That can lead to big transformations.
And remember that every choice we make, every decision about how we live, how we consume,
it all has an impact.
it has an impact.
We have the power to shape the future.
Yeah.
With every dollar we spend, every vote we cast, every conversation we have.
This deep dive has been about more than just MHS building systems.
It has.
It's been about expanding our horizons.
Challenging our assumptions.
Challenging our assumptions.
Yeah.
Embracing the power of possibility.
Recognizing that the future is not something that happens to us.
Right.
It's something we create together.
As we wrap up this conversation, I want to leave our listener with one final thought-provoking question.
Okay, I like it.
What if this is just the beginning?
Ooh,
What if the solutions we're exploring today are just a glimpse of what's possible?
What if the future of building is not just about sustainability, but about regeneration, about creating structures that not only minimize harm, but actually contribute to the health and well-being of our planet and ourselves?
That's a future I'm excited to be a part of.
Me too.
And I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to join us on the journey.
For sure.
Thank you for diving deep with us.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Until next time, keep asking questions, keep pushing boundaries,
and keep believing in the power of innovation
to create a better world.